Hey guys, it's your Tagal Mary and welcome back to my channel. Finally, masusundan na yung ating POCO M3 Pro 5G na unboxing and first impressions. So sa video natin ngayon, this is already the review. But a very quick recap lang, ano nga ba yung mga dapat natin i-expect kapag bumili kayo ng isang retail unit ng POCO M3 Pro 5G. As usual, meron tayong yellow box dahil syempre it's from POCO and meron lang siyang 5G na branding dito sa pinakailalim niya. Actually, this is the cheapest 5G smartphone na ni-release ng POCO and this June 1 siya officially ilo-launch here sa Southeast Asia. But pagdating dito sa atin sa Philippines, I'm not sure yet kung kailan pero I saw some teasers so mari-release naman siya sa atin. Basically, inside the box, you'll be having your usual, POCO stickers, paperworks, a USB Type-C cable, and ang kanyang power brick. And now, tignan natin kung ano magiging itsura ng POCO M3 Pro 5G kapag nilagay natin yung kanyang jelly case. This is how it looks like with the case on it. Jelly case siya, guys, and it offers, the protection that you'll be needing. And why did I say that? Dahil nga, meron pa siyang cover sa pinaka-USB Type-C niya in case that water might splash or, baka matapunan niyo siya ng tubig. Considering that the phone is smudge magnet, medyo malaking tulong yung paglagay ng jelly case sa kanya. Hindi na siya ganun ka-slippery and hindi na rin siya madumi tignan. Just to set your expectations, lalo na doon sa mga first time na mapapanood yung POCO M3 Pro 5G video ko. Again, this is their very first 5G sa kanilang M series. First device ng POCO Global na gumamit ng MediaTek na chipset. And to be exact, it's MediaTek 700 Dimensity. It's not a very new chipset. I think narinig ko na to sa isang smartphone din. But definitely an upgrade doon sa naunang POCO M3 na phone. In terms of the design, I don't really have much complaint. Pero syempre, I do prefer sana to have the brighter colors like yung yellow nga. Para syempre, mas mag-pop up sa video natin and mas appealing din tignan. But then again, it's just the physical appearance ang importante yung nasa loob. It weighs 190 grams and yung kanyang thickness is 8.9 mm. Actually, design-wise, medyo familiar ako sa phone. Bakit? It does look like the Redmi Note 10. Placement of the headphone jack, placement ng IR blaster, pati speaker, and yung kanyang USB Type-C port. Although, syempre, matte yung finish ng phone na yon, ito medyo glossy, and iba yung camera setup nila. It also has a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, and speaking of that, it's very fast and consistent naman most of the time. Unless medyo pasmado lang yung kamay ko, medyo nahirapan lang siyang mag-register minsan. Two-tone yung design ng POCO M3 Pro 5G. Meron tayong mas darker shade of black doon sa kanyang camera setup, and that is the place na kung saan located yung POCO branding. Actually, parang optical illusion nga siya para magmukhang mas malaki yung camera setup niya than it actually is. And if you are not familiar with the Samsung Galaxy S21, medyo hawig niya yung setup doon. In terms of the sizing of the POCO branding, you might find it, a little bit off, pero kung familiar kayo sa POCO M3 na nauna, medyo kasing size lang naman din niya. Yun nga lang, pa-vertical ito, yun pa-landscape. All in all, in terms of design, appreciate ko na they tried something different and hindi rin ganun ka-generic yung kanyang design, which is good. Oh, and by the way, na-appreciate ko rin, katulad ng sinabi ko doon sa Note 10 video natin, na meron siyang headphone jack which is located sa ibabaw, and the fact na meron siyang IR blaster and of course, with NFC. Now, on to the display. Actually, as I mentioned doon sa ating first impressions video, nung una akala ko AMOLED display yung meron tayo dito sa phone na to. Syempre, I thought may level up as compared doon sa POCO M3 na mas mura. It has exactly 6.5 inches of LCD panel and meron siyang 90Hz refresh rate. Although yung display niya ay IPS LCD lamang, I love the fact na yung brightness niya hindi nagkulang. The display is still very visible kahit na lumalabas ako ng bahay, although hindi nga lang ganun kaganda yung kanyang viewing angles. Although, syempre, since IPS LCD nga siya, medyo wash out lang ng konti yung kanyang screen compared to, of course, if itatabi mo siya sa isang smartphone na mayroong AMOLED display. So, kahit na yung phone ay naka-saturated mode na, hindi pa rin siya as vibrant as we thought it's going to be. So, yes, if you're someone who'd rather have a higher refresh rate on a budget phone than having an AMOLED display, then you might appreciate the device more. So yes, definitely, hindi ito yung pinaka-paborito kong display na meron tayo sa mga POCO devices. Pero the fact na mas manipis yung ating mga side bezels dito, even the chin, makes it more manageable gamitin, lalo na manood ng mga videos. Now, I said earlier na meron nga siyang Dimensity 700 that is also capable of 5G. With 6 gig of RAM, the Antutu score is quite decent. Umabot ng 267,000. Actually guys, based on my real-world experience on this device, hindi lang tayo magbabase sa numbers. 6 gig RAM is actually more than enough. I experienced less lag on this device as compared to its competitors. And in terms of playing games naman, lalo na ang Genshin Impact, it's a playable game for as long as kayo ay naka-medium to lowest settings. But don't expect lang na sobrang smooth na magiging gameplay nyo porket it's from the brand of POCO. It's a casual gaming device, especially if you're just gonna play Mobile Legends, PUBG, COD, Asphalt 9. Yung mga games na yun definitely very playable on this device and will make your gaming experience worthwhile. Hindi lang gaming actually, in terms of heavy multitasking, I didn't experience much lag on this device. Although, medyo uminit lang siya ng slight while I was playing Genshin Impact, but not to the point na it will affect my gameplay. On other devices na nakita ko na nag-Antutu run, lumagpas halos ng 300,000 yung naging score nila. Which is why I tried running it again. In terms of software, it has the latest MIUI 12.0.5 based on Android 11. So yes, you're definitely getting the latest MIUI software on this device. Merong mga konting additional wallpapers lang. Your usual POCO launcher. And kung pupunta tayo sa kanyang drop-down notification, you will be having, of course, the Wi-Fi, mobile data, flashlight, mute, screenshot, Bluetooth, auto brightness, airplane mode, lock rotation, reading mode, dark mode, DND, battery saver, ultra battery saver, monitor casting, me, share, floating window, screen recorder, vibrate, hotspot, nearby share, of course, the NFC. At itong kanyang drop-down notification menu, it's very customizable. Pwede natin siyang i-edit. We can add focus mode, bedtime mode, and mirror mode. So yes, you will have almost everything that you will be needing for a smartphone na gagamitin nyo for your everyday use. In terms of battery, meron siyang 5,000 mAh and is capable hanggang 18 watt of fast charging. It's your usual battery and charging capability on a smartphone that is at this price range. It took me almost 2 hours bago na fully charge itong device based on my 1 week of usage, which is actually not fast enough. It's not a super fast charging experience, but for as long as the device lasted me for more than a day, kahit na ako ay naka 5G outside, that's more than enough for me. Again, iba-iba tayo ng priority on a phone. I'd appreciate a bigger battery rather than having a fast charging sa mga budget to mid-range phones. In terms of 5G connectivity, alam nyo guys, simple lang naman yan. If you're in a place na very accessible ang 5G, if it's available sa place nyo, it's definitely something you should consider before buying a smartphone. The 5G didn't affect the battery life as I thought it would. But then again, if 5G ay hindi pa accessible sa place nyo, I don't see it as a priority para kayo ay maghanap ng smartphone na 5G enabled na. Now, if you're looking for a cheap 5G option in the market, dun ka lang sa mga smartphones na 10,000 below, and nakatira ka sa mga Makati area, Green Hills, ganyan, na kung saan accessible ang 5G, definitely POCO M3 Pro 5G can be part of your options. Ngayon, mag-speaker test na tayo. Wala tayong dual speaker on this phone, single speaker lang tayo. Kapag may black at yellow combination ng packaging, it's definitely from POCO. Bakit walang panandot? Mukhang nagkakanakawan dito ng SIM ejector tool. In terms of my audio experience, hindi naman siya sobrang wow. It's an expected sound experience from a phone with a single speaker only. But for casual listening experience lang naman, pwede na siya. So, ending this video with its cameras, unahin natin ang main camera which is the 48 megapixel f1.8 aperture, 2 megapixel macro lens, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. In terms of the set of cameras, I think it would have been a better choice sana kung nilagyan nila ng ultra-wide camera yung device. For a smartphone na nasa ganitong price point, medyo maghahanap ka talaga ng ultra-wide camera. But despite that naman, kapag nasa good lighting conditions kayo, maganda yung mga photos na ipoproduce ng device. And meron naman siyang dedicated night mode as well. Although medyo grainy lang yung mga photos natin kahit na naka-night mode na tayo. It also has less camera features kung ikukumpara natin sa ibang mga smartphones at this price point. And to be specific, we have a night mode, 48 megapixel short video, panorama, slow motion, and time-lapse. Meron tayong portrait mode, video mode of course, which is capable na makapag-shoot tayo hanggang 1080p at 30 FPS. At meron din tayong Pro mode. Wala siyang dedicated OIS or EIS sa video recording niya. So, kapag kayo ay nagbe-video habang naglalakad, it will definitely be a little shaky. But despite that, kapag gumamit naman kayo ng POCO M3 Pro 5G on a tripod, the footages will definitely be more nicer. Verdict, there are a few things na sobrang nagustuhan ko talaga on this device at may mga bagay rin naman ako na hindi masyadong nagustuhan. In terms of the color choices, I will definitely recommend for you to get the yellow one. The chipset that is being used on this device, despite it being a MediaTek, is actually efficient enough for you to be able to use the device for your everyday social media, online class, and even, you know, a little bit of gaming. The presence of 90Hz refresh rate, and of course, the 5G capability. We all know 5G is not cheap, which is why minsan nagugulat talaga ako whenever brands are releasing smartphones na mura, tapos 5G enabled. Now, for a few things na hindi ko masyadong nagustuhan on this device, syempre could have been better sana kung dual or stereo speakers yung meron tayo. And of course, the lack of ultra-wide camera. Wala pa tayong official pricing ng POCO M3 Pro 5G dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. But I'm pretty sure the device will be less than 10,000 pesos. So let's see guys, and I'll update you on my social media accounts, which is why dapat nyo kong i-follow sa kanyang official PH pricing para aware rin kayo kung dapat ba kayong bumili or not. Again, that's it for today guys. It's your Tech with Mary and see you on my next video. Bye guys!